So we're back in virtual desktop. I'm going to redo Pinball FX2 ReShade, and I'm going to try to do a little bit more for the more than just 3D depth, to add some anti-aliasing and some sharpening. The first video I did was messed up because I was in 1080p and the resolution looked bad. But I'm in 4K now. This should look a lot better results. And so let's install ReShade. I'm using the version with out add-ons. I don't know how to use any add-ons yet. I do Pinball FX2. It is DirectX 9. Previously, I would turn off SweetFX, but the two effects that we want to use are LumaSharpen and SMAA, are the examples. So we're going to leave it. If you just wanted those, you can select it and then select them individually. But I'm just going to let it bring all of them in. We can try out the other ones if we want later on. And I do need Depth 3D. Let's just let those install. Okay, and now we'll go in and configure it. So before going into ReShade, I'm going to check some of the settings here real quick in game. So for the controls, just going to everything to the default. I'll probably do another video on controls for one of the pinballs. I don't really need graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and leave reflections on. I've got 4K. Now this is the main thing. You need to make sure anti-aliasing off or is off, or else ReShade can't figure out the depth. And at least for FX3, it needed to be a borderless window. If it was full screen, FX3 would not go into portrait. I don't know if that's a specific problem with FX2, but I'm just going to make sure it's borderless window to avoid any headaches, because we will want to go to portrait. Okay, so now I'm going to set up ReShade by pressing the home key per this up here. I'm going to skip the tutorial. Okay, so this is, it's got super depth and then it's got all the other ones. So we need SMAA, active to top. Then we want super depth, active to top. And then we want LumaSharpen, active to top. I'm going to try to drag this
blade.
I don't want to, not playing blade. Come on. There we go. And I'll turn off super depth for now. So we'll go
Star
down.
Wars Pinball, Rogue One.
Nope, don't want to play Rogue One right now either.
Deadpool!
So the LumaSharpen and the SMAA, it's got some options. The options are here for SMAA, what it's going to detect. It's got a debug mode where you can show view edges. So let's
The Walking Dead.
get into a table. Okay.
Let's do this.
So we can see the table, so it is detecting the edges. We do luminance, yeah, and if we do depth, no. So we're not going to do depth. Luminance looks like this. And I'm going to try to select color while looking at it. Or else, okay, when I switched from luminance to color, color filled out a little bit more. So, and it's also the default. So I think I'm just going to stick with color. And sharpen, I don't really know what these are. I'm just going to leave these as the defaults right now. Got this pattern, pyramid pattern. I don't know what that is. But we'll just leave it and see if we notice anything. The one thing we're going to do is we want to be able to toggle these to see if we can tell. And I've got this little keyboard on this controller. So I'm going to map them to a number key. So if well, these need to be in order. So you want SMAA to happen first. And I think the difference between SMAA and MSAA is the like pre versus post processing, or SMAA is more like a post process and it's not going to mess up the buffer that's used for depth detection, while MSAA was happening, I think, pre-processing and it was messing up that depth buffer. But if you need to change the order, you can do this, like move it to top and bottom on the right click on these, but right now they're in order, just not enabled. I am going to do, though, I right clicked, I'm going to set a keyboard shortcut to toggle this one. So now it's got the cursor in there and I'm going to hit 1 and I'm going to do the same for SMAA. So when I type 1, it's going to enable or disable both of these. So let's enable super depth. And if I hit the 1 key, we should see it. These will enable and disable. All right, so we need to turn out that debug mode. SMAA. I'll try to dial in depth a little bit. We'll redo it again when we're in portrait, but I'm going to turn on stereo depth view. And okay, if I pull this up, I'm getting a little bit of depth here. But I think that's fine. But we want to get to, we'll do this in portrait mode, but for now let's switch that to top and bottom before we switch over. Okay, and I won't turn on performance mode yet. It should be saved. Let's turn off the debug and then we'll switch over to portrait. All right, now display, portrait, keep. Okay, jump back in, and ReShade will kick in. So top and bottom. We're going to do home and try to dial it in here. Let's get into a table.
The Walking Dead. The axe!
And let's turn on the depth map. Let's stereo. Okay. And okay, this maxes out at 250. So let's try to do zero parallax a little bit first. So it defaults to 0.025. I'm just going to bump it up like to there. Now let's look at near. So yeah, I'm getting more depth here without maxing it out. Oh, let me switch batteries real quick. Yeah, great. All right, killing it. I mean, yeah, I think it's okay. I'm going to pull off the near a little bit. It's a little black. There's a little too much black. There, I think I'm going to like that. Let's turn off the debug. I'm going to get rid of curve. See the biggest size already. Okay, let's turn on performance mode. And now get rid of the shader menu and go into 3D. So it's like she's standing close, so I'm getting a little bit of shininess around her hair. Let's try that keyboard press for toggling the anti-aliasing and the sharpness. Okay, so I can see it on the background image where it's got like the characters images and the text like jackpot, combo, lock ball. It's definitely sharpening that up. So this is, I don't know if it's probably not visible on YouTube compression, but that's off and that's on, off, on. It's subtle. If I'm looking specifically at the rails, on, off, on. I mean, I still see some jaggedness on the rails. This is affecting it just a little bit, but I wish it affected it more. So maybe I could go in and dial up sharpening or anti-aliasing some. I don't know. I haven't tried those, configuring those more. But I'm definitely getting a subtle effect on, I see it more on the background than on the rails. I wish it was more on the rails. Let's try to play though. Alright, let me try to get it trapped.
Have I missed anything?
Oh,
Say. You'll get in there somehow.
Nice shot.
yeah, I want to trap it though.
No!
Let's do this thing.
Have I missed anything?
So I like the 3D depth. Everything's nice and stable, especially in this full view. I mean, the rails are the only part where I can complain a little bit. I think they maybe do look a little bit better, but I'd still like to get them a little bit sharper, a little less jagged. I like this though. This is how I would, out of the stuff that I've tried so far for adding 3D, I would definitely do this for Pinball FX2 and Pinball FX Classic. I think this, I'd just set this up, I'd dial them both in, and this is how I'd play both of those. Yeah, let's try. I mean, the ball looks,
Good
I'm
shot.
seeing the reflections. I like that I turned that on.
You'll get in there somehow.
I'm not seeing any problem with it.
Good
The
job.
performance is good. Like, I'm expecting ReShade to not add that much of a performance hit, even with side by side.
Let's do this.
Yeah, there's a little complaint about her around her hat, and her hair is a little bit shiny, but she's not even on the. She's not around much. Disregarding how bad I
You'll
play.
get in there somehow. Have I missed
That
anything?
other zombie up there, he does not have it. Let me see. Yeah, he looks sharp. I'm not seeing any shininess around his edges. Pretty good. All right, that's all.
Be safe.